a force of 10 Newton and a force of 5 Newton act on an object. So imagine you are the object. One friend pull you here, one friend pull you there. So where will you go in the end? Well, that's resultant force. So the angle between the forces is 150. The resultant force can be resolved into a pair of perpendicular components. That's the whole idea of why we resolve. So which row shows a possible pair of perpendicular components? So before we look at this, let's look at the diagram in detail a little bit. How do you resolve and what do you resolve exactly? So normally, I think we will go with purely horizontal and purely vertical component. And these two must be right angle to each other. So the 5 Newton, no problem, already perfectly horizontal. The 10 Newton though, if you use this system, then you need to resolve like this. Okay, and if you use this angle as 30 degrees, then you will have adjacent hypotenuse 10 cos 30 and 10 sine 30. Okay, so for example, if you want to look at the horizontal part, we compare 5 and 10. They both point in opposite direction. So one of them have to be negative, one of them have to be positive. Because based on our system, right, one positive, negative, pointing different direction. But if we look at the answer, is there something that has 5 Newton and 10 sine 30? 5 Newton, 10 sine 30, potentially this. Okay. 5 Newton and 10 cos 30. Something seems wrong. Okay, never mind. So if we say maybe B is correct, but let's check the vertical. In our diagram up there, we only have 10 sine 30 as vertical. 10 cos 30 should be horizontal. Confusion. So potentially this one. Vertical should be 10 sine 30 though. We have a problem here. This is incorrect. In fact, for the 10 Newton force, you resolve it. One must be cosine, one must be sine. Cannot have both cosine. So, not correct now. A. So that means we are stuck. There's no answer. How? Stay calm. We know it's not A. Could be B, C, D. But the sine and cosine not very correct from what we draw. So what happened is actually they use a different system to resolve their forces. What does that mean? Means instead of using this axis here on the right, horizontal, vertical, they tilt the whole thing. And they say, oh, this is X. This is Y. Like that. Can we resolve things to be like that? Tilted? Can. Let's rub off and try again. So in this tilted system, tilt this way, we don't have to resolve the 10 Newton because it's perfectly horizontal already. But our 5 Newton now need to resolve. We resolve into this so-called horizontal and vertical component. And these two must be right angle to each other because that's our system. Okay, that's our axis. So now we can do the same thing, but in the tilted system. So this is 30, so adjacent hypotenuse, this will be 5 cos 30. Vertical will be 5 sine of 30. Okay, now we check horizontal and horizontal. Should have 10 and 5 cos 30. Let's check the answers. 10 and 5 cos 30. Yes, we have an answer. One is positive, one is negative because they point in different direction. This way. Then the vertical should have 5 sine 30. Yes, now it's fully correct. Can. So this one is how we can choose. So it's tricky. Sometimes if equations or you need to check, if you don't get the answer, you cannot find the answer. Maybe check and see, use a different tilted system to resolve into different perpendicular components. There are infinitely many choices you can make for this. Okay, but that's all for this video. See you in the next one.